Thank you very much for staying tuned. You're watching LN247 this morning weekend, this Saturday morning. I'm sure you've been enjoying yourself as we are here. And of course, we are going to our personality profile interview now. And it's something really nice indeed, talking about the marvel behind the camera, framing faith, fashion, and the future. Now, behind every striking image is a story, and behind some of the most captivating visuals in today's creative scene is a man with a mission, a storyteller with a camera, a mentor with a vision, and a voice stirring deep conversations beyond the frame. From high-profile campaigns to grassroots community projects, his work speaks of depth, detail, and purpose. Meet Marvel Olagunju Opeyemi. He is the CEO and lead photographer at Marvel Distinct Pictures, a Lagos-based brand known for its moody storytelling-driven portraits. As head of content at a US-based gallery and a certified international project manager, Marvel blends creativity with structure in media, fashion, and tech space. He also leads Explore 25, a creative community initiative focused on mentorship, travel, and collaboration, as well as featuring segments like The Roast for honest critics beyond visuals. Marvel hosts Marvel's Diary, a podcast exploring life, faith, and global issues through a Christian lens. His academic background in history and education fuels his passion for impactful storytelling and empowering emerging creativities. Yes. Okay, it's great to have you join us, Marvel. You're welcome.
It's an honor to be here. I'm super grateful.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Wow, that is quite impressive, I must say. Taylor, let's start with your question.
Okay, so let's start from how it all began. Right. So what drew you to photography in the first place, and how did you hone your skill over time?
All right, so I started photography when I was done with secondary school. I have always loved to take pictures. So one morning my dad woke up and he was like, you need to learn something. And I'm like, oh, what do I need to learn? Then he goes, there's this brother that stays at the back of our house. Just be following him to Motion Ground in Exo. And spent a couple of months, and the only thing I learned was passport.
I did.
Yeah, it's funny. So you spend like the whole day and you just keep calling people to take passport pictures. By the time you're done in the evening, you need tom-tom and all of that to clear your voice. But so when we're done in the evening, we go to a lab to print. I edit and all of that. I was not learning so much, so I had to switch. Then I started working in the lab for a while, worked in the lab for, I think, about 3-4 months. And after that, I had to go to school. But in between that, I got a camera. My mom got me my first camera.
Nice.
Nikon, Nikon 3000, the 5100, yeah. I still have the body in the house. So she got me my first camera. So I went to school. I had to develop my skill by online webinar and all of that, you know. But I think one thing that stood out for me was the determination to really wanted to do what I wanted to do. So one day I woke up and I was like in my 200 level, like the first semester. And I said to myself I was going to join the Association of Photographers in campus. It was hard because every one of them was older than me. They don't want a young boy and all of that. The person I was working with in my 100 level took it as a work upon himself to make sure that I didn't get into the association. Yeah, it was that bad, because I think my idea of the whole thing was very different. Yeah, that's my thought. So, but I did it, and one morning when my mom sent me my school fees one morning, and I used half of it to register for the association. And so I was on my first trip going to Origially with my department as their photographer, and she called and I told her, so I said it in Yoruba, "What's the lower of school fees? Me register." Then she goes, she runs like a Nigerian mother.
Yeah.
And she was done, she was like, okay. But why have I? That's where are you now? And you know, she got over it with time and all of that, but she saw the determination and I had to do it. It was war, it was a whole lot of war, but it was done. And I think my mind has just been very different and all of that. When I was done with school, I did some sort of internship with Photography Studios in Ekiti State at the time. Did 6 months. Then at the end of 2019, I felt like Ekiti State was limiting me. I was doing well. I was the manager. So I grew from an intern to the manager in the space of 6 months.
Wow, that's quite remarkable.
Because I sleep in the studio instead of going home.
Oh,
Yeah, I loved to see what he was not even saying. And I felt like the best way I could learn was stay there, put your head there, see it, watching a lot of videos and all of that. So I got an internship in Lagos 2020 and stay in Lagos I don't like to talk about that part because it was a lot of things. I slept in an open space for 6 months in Lagos because I didn't
when you say an open space, you're talking about no roof.
Yeah. All right, so it was first in a church auditorium for 3 months and all of that. There was just a whole lot of back and forth and all of that, but it was not like the good part of the side of things. Yeah, but then I remember walking from Agric Ishawo to the junction for about 2 hours, scouted for makeup artists to work with, to collab with. So walk 2 hours down, walk 2 hours back. Yeah, because you want to enter every shop and say, this is what I do. I'm new in Lagos and all of that. Yeah, so it was just a whole lot of things to deal with. But I think all of those things framed my mind to feel like nothing is impossible at the moment.
You know, I must say I find everything you just said very intriguing.
Yeah.
Very inspiring and very challenging for a young person. You're young.
Yeah, I am.
Something like someone that has been doing this for like 20
Yeah, how long
years.
have you been doing
It's
it?
gonna be like well, amateur-wise, maybe 10, but professionally, I would say I started after my internship in 2020 because my eyes was open to other things.
Okay, so when one look at it professionally,
Yeah.
you've been doing this for like 5 years.
Yes, for like 5 years.
And you were able to weather all these
Yeah.
challenges.
Although my mom does not know about the part of me sleeping in a place I was not very comfortable.
We're not going to tell her, trust me.
Because she's gonna be like, why don't you come home? I mean, I have a room to myself in Ekiti State. The photography studio I was working was the president of photography, the governor of the state at the time. So they were doing well. But I just knew that I wanted more. There was not all I was saying. I mean, I was seeing guys from outside the country see what they do, and I'm like, nah, there's more to this than this. And that's still my mindset till now. So when I look at what I do, I still see like, if there's somebody doing better than me, I need to catch up, I need to do better. That's the whole idea.
Wow. Okay, now within the space of 5 years, you've been able to achieve all we read in your profile.
Yes.
So how were you able to, make all of that possible?
I think first it has to do with the mindset. The mind of a man is what determines whatever he is on the long run. So I knew that I could do more. I knew that there could be more to me. So when I started the podcasting, it was just from my phone. I would record the audio from my phone and just put out. Then one day a friend of mine reached out to me and was like, oh, your podcast, I just listened to it and I feel like there's a weight lifted off my chest. And I'm like, okay, it looks like we're doing something good. Yeah. Sometimes I may not have a whole lot of following yet on the podcast at the moment, but sometimes the little drop-in of comments like, this is exactly what I needed to hear. There was a time I posted sometimes last week, and one of my friends was like, yo, this is it. Yeah, that kind of thing. So that keeps me going wherever it is. Yeah. And speaking of tech, I write a bit of code, just a little bit. So, but I didn't start like that. I started with NFTs, blockchain, learned about it and all of that, And when I did that, over the time grew, get to meet some of the guys, investors, then we began talks and show them some ideas. They loved the ideas. They were like, okay, we could do this. And that's how I started working with Galleria at the moment. So yeah, that's about that. Explore started sometimes last year. I was started with what I was doing, and I felt like I needed to do more.
Okay.
So I took a fast, and I prayed, and I didn't hear nothing. I didn't see nothing. So I called two of my friends that we prayed together. I'm like, yo, it has happened though. I've taken fast. It's not happening. You guys should come to my rescue. So we prayed. They gave me words and all of that. Then I took another first. Then in the fast, I just knew I needed to travel, needed to start something new. So I texted a friend. I'm like, yo, Afa, let's travel next year. Let's travel. Let's gather people. Let's do collaborations. Let's And you know, as it's just like when you start, you don't have all the things together.
Yeah.
You have to grow with time. We're in talk with, there's a project I'm running that we're going to run by August in Lagos. That's going to be my first event ever.
Wow.
But I'm not starting small. I'm starting with one of the major partners you would ever think in Lagos. We visited them on Thursday, and they were very much open. They were going to give us whatever we need and all of that. But it didn't just start like that. So I didn't think about all of this when it started last year. I just wanted to travel, do collaborations. But even now, having some of the contact I've met over the times and having to speak with them, like, I need you on my podcast to talk to people, help people. And some of them are very receptive, and I'm like, oh, okay, so can we do a live event? Can we have you come and speak to creatives on something apart from their skill? How do you handle your business? How do you handle your accounting? How do you... These are everybody. I told someone I respect so much, and the person looked at me. I said, everybody's doing shoot, retouch, and whatever and lighting. Makeup artist is doing how to draw barrel. Nobody is teaching anybody on how to sustain
run
business.
the business.
Exactly.
Wow, very interesting. I quite like the way you've been able to marry everything together, and it's working out well for you. Quite inspiring, I must say.
Thanks so much.
And I hope one young person is being inspired, as you're talking right now. Now let's talk about your work, your photography work. You do a bit of moody stuff. I don't know how that works, but why that? You know, what brought about that? What inspired that?
All right, I'm a product of influence. Right, that's one thing I would say. I'm a product of influence, whatever it is. So when I was working in the States, my guy used to shoot one light. So his image always comes out really dark. And I loved it.
Okay.
Then I feel like when I got into Lagos, into my own space, I feel like everybody shoots something that's bright. Everybody wants to pour plenty light and all of that. I just found solace in it. It just gives me joy that you could see the images and you could tell the story out of them. That's the best part of it. So either I shoot bright light or low key or highlight. I always have like a story attached to my image. For an example, yesterday I shot one of my friends who happens to be a celebrity, and I'm pushing my limit again. So when the image comes out, everybody's going to be like, "Whoa!" I'm sure about that. I'm sure about that. So, yeah.
Now you've worked with a lot of people. You've worked with big names like Pepsi and all that. So how do you balance creativity and commercial expectations? Because some people are just all about, oh, I'm a creative. Now you talked about business too. So how do you balance all of that?
First off, pray. It's too important. If
you need to say that again. Somebody needs to say that.
First off, you need to pray.
You need to pray.
Yeah, you need to pray. I believe so much that supernatural controls the physical.
Of course.
That's my thought. So if I hit a roadblock, if anything is not working, it seems like it's not working. If what I'm seeing is not what I want to see, I change my perspective. I change it again. For example, I was talking to someone yesterday on how the meeting I had with the partners I spoke to you about just now, I shut down a whole day to study, fast, and pray for long hours before the meeting. So when you see me in the meeting, you think I have $1 billion in my account. I'm talking from a place. That's the thought of it.
Wow. So now, when you're behind the camera, right? What do you look out for beyond the poses, and all that? You say you want all your images to tell a story.
Right.
So what do you really look out for? What do you want the picture to look like afterwards?
All right, so first off, the thing is, for you to have a great image, you need to pre-plan whatever you want to see. You don't just jump into the studio and start making images. You need to plan ahead. See what the end result is going to be like. For example, I was telling you just now that there's an image I shot yesterday, and I've not edited it. I just shot it and I just kept it. But I already knew what it was going to be like, and I'm sure that when it comes out, it's going to blow even my mind. I'm telling you the truth because because I'm stepping outside of my comfort zone actually to make those things. So it first the high. What can you see? What can you see before you start handling the camera? Then that way, for an example, when you come to shoot with me, I don't use 10 hours to do a test run. When you come, I set my light before you step into the studio. So when you step in, the only thing I do is maybe like take 2-3 test shots and I'm done. Why? Because I've learned over the years, I've developed so much. Maybe, I don't want to now start looking like I'm boasting too much, but if there's anything, I learn. I learn to read the light. For example, when I came to the studio this morning, I'm seeing the lights first. So I know where the shadows are going to be. I know where the highlights are going to be. I know where everything is going to fall on, technically. So by being in a space, I know it. So you first read your light, read your mood board, read everything. It's just too important. Then you learn colors, learn all of those things. All of those things just develop. Over the years, it becomes something that you do.
Like an instinct.
Yeah, like an instinct. But it's, on the long run, your brain is working it out on as you go. You know, one thing I told myself recently is I'm going to read 2 books in a month. Yeah, and it's been working well for me. So it's just more like what you've been doing over the years and what your ability to learn, your ability to see things, put yourself into it. Nothing just happens without you being intentional. It's not going to happen if you don't take the steps to go for it. So you need to. So, yeah, what I see is what I should.
What you should
Yeah.
That's quite inspiring. Now, let's talk about you. You own many things, like you wear many hats.
Right.
You're a CEO, you're a photographer, lead photographer, content head. So how do you stay creative, creatively aligned with all of these, things that you do, and then still manage the business side? Because you just talked about, bringing in someone to come talk to people, creative people, how to manage their business. But these have you been able to do, with every other thing that you are doing presently?
All right, see, I'm not going to lie to you. If you're a young person out there, see, pray. No God. I know it's looking like as if I'm emphasizing it maybe a little too much, but that's all I do. I'm not even going to lie to you. If I want to do a shoot and I don't know what exactly I'm supposed to do, I mutter tongues. I go take a minute out of the studio space and go to the office and just, oh Lord Jesus, what are we doing right now? It's not like I've not read my mood board. It's not like for an example, I was supposed to do a shoot sometimes last week, and I had to watch the tutorial over and over again. Yeah, it's not like I've not shot it before. The person saw what I did, then the person came, wanted to do a shoot. But the person is asking for something a little bit extra. I could do it maybe when I'm sitting on the laptop to edit. But instead of me waiting till then, are there things I could put in place on set?
Yeah.
So staying creative it requires a lot of work, all right? You need to put in the work. See, I would say people that are on their A game, they don't get there by chance. Nothing happens by luck. There's nothing like circumstances. There's nothing like circumstances is where God decides to stay anonymous. There's nothing like that. So you need to be intentional with everything you want to see in your life. Anything you want to see. Just be very intentional. You want to know more about business, take a course, take a class, stick to it. Somebody says, I start the course, I don't finish. You're not serious. But that's the truth. It's painstaking. I have a friend of mine that studied agroeconomics. Right now, he's a tech guy.
Wow.
We stayed together at a point, and every time he's going to work, he's on his course. When he's coming back, there was a time he was drenched in the rain. He couldn't get a bus from Ikeja to the house, and he still had to attend class.
Wow.
So today you see him saying, I do back end, I do front end, I do this, I do that. You think he took cries. This guy will get in the house sometimes, he's just too tired to eat, and he just lie down, oh Father, what have I put my life into?
Yeah, so you have to put in the work.
You have to put in the work. Nothing comes easy. You see all of these things that we just come in the open and tell you that it's easy. Yeah, there's a spirit that makes it easy for us, but you've got to put in the work. There's no other way to it.
If you're going to achieve something, you have to put in
You have
the work.
to set the goal and make sure you hit the target. Don't shift it. Make sure you can shift your ways of going around it, not illegally, of course. But you've got to make sure that you are very certain about it and you get it done.
Yeah. Now let's talk about your journey.
Right.
You say that mentorship is part of your plan, it's part of things you want to do. So is there any part in your journey that you felt like, I wish somebody held my hand, through this path? And also, in this mentorship you want to do, how do you plan to handle creatives without dimming their individuality? All
right. Now, for an example, I woke up around 4:30 this morning, 4:35, to edit a video before I came to the studio this morning. And I was listening to myself speak, because I was the one that was recording. Because I needed to pull out like a content for, And one of the things I said I've made a lot of mistakes that I wouldn't have made if I have someone hold my hand, guide me. And it doesn't have to be someone that, for an example, if I was just starting, it doesn't have to be somebody that is top. It's just in somebody like 2-3 stages above of me that could show me the things. There are many things I'd gone through I would not have gone through. Trust me. There are many trials and errors I had gone through I would not have gone through. So I wish, and even right now, I have mentors above me right now, right? Like I used to say, make sure your mentor has a mentor. It's too important. It's too important. You don't want to get mentored by somebody that is not learning. That's not somebody that's not somebody. Yeah. So that's the thing. So do I wish? Yes. How do I choose to handle individuality? Well, we're not trying to create a robot. At least for me, I love my individuality. For an example, the kind of portrait I shoot is way different. If you want to bring me into a class, you want to teach me how you shoot, I will just pick what I need to pick from it. I don't need to. So the mentorship is, like I said, the mentorship is not how to shoot, how to draw eyebrows, how to cut lines in your fashion. It's the business side of it. It's the structure side of it. Trust me, if many creatives get sick today, their business is done. There's no structure to keep it running. It doesn't have to be like that. Creatives need to get better with what they do. It's not just an hobby. It is what you do for life now. It is what puts food on your table. It's a job. So you need to separate the job from you. I was talking to someone yesterday, and the person was saying, I need you to shoot me. And I told the person, if you want me to shoot you, I'll come. But this is it. But I could send my intern to do this for you. And it's going to do you well. I just need to give him instructions. And you can pay this. It's lesser than what I would charge you. Right now, I don't have to give my attention to all of these things. I have a whole lot of things. If I show you my to-do list, maybe yours is bigger than mine, but I think mine is a whole lot. I'm not even going to lie. So that's the way it is. You need to be accountable for your life. So we're not trying to create robots. We're just trying to put knowledge in your head, and if you choose to maximize it, it's yours. If you choose not to maximize it, it's still. Like I used to say, the knowledge that will change your life is available. You need to be deliberate to find it.
The knowledge that will change your life is available.
Yeah.
You just need to be deliberate
to find it.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about your podcast.
All right.
Let me read out something that you said. Marvel's diary blends faith, life, and what you call a sprinkle of violence.
Yes.
What does that mean? What's that?
All right, there's a sprinkle of violence because the way the podcast is, you would not find that I'm a Christian on the surface. I'm not trying to hide the fact that I'm a Christian because I'm proud of it. Like I've always said, you need to pray, you need to fast, you need to go to church and all that. But I found out that there are some audience that we need to reach that will not first listen to you if they find out that you're pushing Christianity first to them. Right? There's something in between life and faith. Or faith is everything, but there's something in between life and all of that. Is what we're talking about. For an example, the violence is, I dropped an episode yesterday, a short one, and I was talking about how social media has become a standard of life for everybody's living. And there's a way I said it, it would have been your pastor will not say it that way, your mom may not say it that way. But you need a reset. Your head needs to be set back to, like I always say, everything you see on the social media is an agenda. Somebody's trying to push something. And I tell you, with every content I put out, I'm also trying to tell you something. I'm not just trying to put out content like that, no. My content are so cohesive that I know what I'm putting out. And I can tell you some of the things that you will never find on my podcast. So the violence take it by force. Everybody's head must be on reset. Not everybody has to do fraud.
True.
Not everybody has to be under addiction. That's the truth. It's a crazy world right now because a lot of people are geared towards craziness, all right? But not everybody has to get crazy on that side of the thing. There are better things to do with your life. You can get crazy for God, get crazy on your goals, do better things, make sure humanity gets sustained, not you shouting climate change.
Okay. Marvel. On point. Now, let's go back.
Now, still talking about your podcast, what conversation do you think the world isn't having enough that you would want to push?
Oh, I have a couple. One is how that every youngster now thinks that their life is theirs. Long run, it's not really yours. Even in the short run, you're going to give an account of how you spend your life. That's one. Secondly, I also found out that, so I studied history when I was in school with a double honor in education. And I found out recently that most of the things I was taught was fast. They were not true. And at some point, I feel like beating up my lecturers in my mind. Of course, I wouldn't do that. They are well older than me. If not for anything, for the age, I would respect that. But I found out most of the things I was taught was not true. So if I have a podcast like I do now, I want to put out content that really teaches the true thing. We need to live a better life.
Yeah.
we need to be intentional with the kind of life we live. We can't just wait for things to happen. Because if you wait for things to happen, it will never happen. These are the kind of things I want. I want someone to listen to the podcast and let them have a reshape of their mindset. That's the goal of it. Don't just listen and feel excited in your mind. No. Let it shake it to your bone that the next thing you are on your toes.
Making a change.
You are making a change. I mean, when I speak with my friend, somebody was talking to me yesterday and said, even if it's 2 minutes I speak with you, when I'm done, I'm always... So that's how you're supposed to be. So yeah, conversations I like to talk about. Let me mention this. There's a part of the podcast that has to do with playing God. And majorly what I'm discussing is global issues. How that we are being lied to on many fronts. Many things you see in the media and all of that. I was talking to a friend about a couple of things and the guy was like, have I been living on this set? I said, you need to watch Playing God so that you can catch up a little bit. So that's the way it is. There are many things that are not being said. Even outside mothers are not telling us anymore because the generations now, they feel like they know too much. That's an issue. Everybody, it's a generation of cameras, phones. When you meet someone that could have blessed your life, someone that can impact your life for better, the first thing you want to do is take pictures with them.
You can say that again.
And someone I respect a lot says that if you take picture with them on the first instance, it means that you are saying there's a probability of you not seeing them again. But if you have enough capacity built on your inside, value calls for value.
Yeah.
And when they meet you next time, don't let them meet you when they left you. Let them meet you in another space. I was telling somebody yesterday.
In a better space.
In a better space. I was telling somebody yesterday, me that woke up yesterday morning is not me that slept. Why? Because apart from the fact that I called my mom and she spoke words over me, I learned new things yesterday. Yeah. It's the way of life. It's the way it's supposed to be. Right? So those are things that I think that should be out there. We need to have a whole lot of research being done, actually.
You know what? Marvel, as you're talking and what is just going through my mind is the fact that, first of all, I'm very, very glad that you're a young person and you have this mindset. And it shows that this generation is not lost.
It's not at all.
Because you hear a lot of things. You see, like you rightly said, on social media, you see a lot of young people. It's just about the vibes, the opposites, what they want to wear, what they want to look like. Even now, guys, and you wonder, can there be a better way for them? Yes, there can be a better way for them because we have someone like you, inspiring, talking about. So when I don't know how many people you have following on your podcast, but do you see a situation where you could have like a major program or an initiative for young people where you could, maybe reach them all at once beyond the podcast? I don't know. I'm just thinking.
We could look into that. So there are a couple of things that is still behind that we're trying to work on podcast. But let me say this before we go there. Now, as little as it may look like, I have someone text me a couple of weeks ago. I met him some 2 years ago, and reached out to him, preached the gospel, and all of that. And he spoke to me 2 weeks ago, and he said after we lost contact for a while, he started doing Yahoo. Yeah, but he said since he started following the diary, he's beginning to feel a lot of relief from doing it, and he's taking a new course, and then he had to send me a certificate. I didn't even ask him all of these things. He sent me a certificate that he started cybersecurity now, and he's into cybersecurity and he's dropping.
You see?
So the lives we change is the most important part. But are we thinking of doing something on a global scale? Yes, that's where I'm very grateful for opportunities like this. Being on set with you. It means a lot to me, I'm never going to lie. So let me just say it on set. Thank you so much for all that you do. Thank you so much. So am I thinking about that? Yeah, we can. And the truth is, when you check one of the brands, the same value cut across all of the brands. That's it for me, all right? Like, whatever brand you're relating with, if it's MDP, if it's Marvel's Diary, if it's Expert 25, if it's whatever it is, the same value cut across. So everybody that comes through that side, they know that this is what I stand for, this is what I do. So am I thinking of something like that? I will, because there's even beyond this, there's something that came to my mind a couple of days ago. It's called prayer party.
Prayer party?
Yeah. And it's just all coming for Marvel's Diary, doing a little bit of praying God, and doing a little bit of praying in tongues. Just a couple hours. So maybe not. I'm not sure. I just like
Well done.
Yeah. All right, now on a more personal note, what part of your journey has surprised you the most?
Oh. Okay. A part of my journey. The first thing that came to my mind is how I got intentional in my life. I had, like I said, when I came to Lagos at first, where I was not good. But I didn't tell my mom because if I had told her, she would have asked me to come back to the house. And I didn't want to do that. I think I just got so intentional in my life at some point, and I feel like, come on, is that yes or yes? So you can't. I don't know. The way my mind works now is if I don't do something about it, nothing's going to change. If you don't plant something in your life, wood is going to grow.
Yeah.
So you're going to plant something. That's the way it is.
Okay.
So have you ever felt misunderstood as a young creative in this part of the world and an entrepreneur? Have you felt not seen, let's say unseen or misunderstood in some way as a young person?
Okay, one, misunderstood, yes. My hair is one for one.
Okay.
But not seen. It depends on who you want to see you. So let me say, it's hard to believe, but I'm not the kind of person that wants fame.
Wow. Okay.
I've never started, I didn't start my journey like that. I don't want fame, but the things I do now, they are driven from a place of the fact that there's necessity laid in my heart somewhere, that things need to be done. And I'm not seeing a lot of people getting it done. And I need to do something. I was telling my friend, if you need to start doing a podcast, start doing it. We don't have a lot talking about the good things. We have enough, more than enough, talking about bad things. Every time you open. So a podcast is going to drop this evening.
Okay.
And then one of the things that I spoke about there is the opportunity of access to people. And now that some of the youngsters, when they have access to you, the next thing they are sending to you is broadcast messages. I'm too busy to be reading broadcast messages. If you need to put something, put it on your status. I'll read it. And when I was telling the podcast, I said, some of you, the only reason why I've muted and deleted your number is because the only thing you post day and night is bum. I don't want to see them. It does not matter to me. I don't care, all right?
Wow.
So things like that. But I've unseen, I don't know if unseen, like I used to say, before I put out a picture, any picture that I shoot, I don't care about, when it's out, I don't finally care about the likes because I have soaked into the picture enough before I give it out. I have pictures from last year that I have not posted. Why? Because I feel like I've not seen enough of it myself.
Wow.
So when I finally see enough of it and I release it, if you shout wow, if you don't shout wow, it necessarily does not so matter so much to me. Why? Because it is me, I, and myself. But do I want more crowds to see what I'm doing? Yes. Why? Because of the value in it.
Not for the likes.
This life is more than the likes. So.
We need to wrap up this discussion. We have a few more minutes to go, but really talking with you
So
is
much fun.
so much
And
fun
inspiring.
and very inspiring.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Well
It's
done.
an honor.
I must say you've done well, but
Thanks.
we need to put all of this together. Now, what does success mean to you? And the young person is watching now.
Okay.
Maybe they have been in a space or where you were at a point in your life, you had to stay in a place that wasn't good,
Yeah.
you know, and you had to fight. Let me use the word fight to be what you are today.
Right.
So can you talk to that young person and then, of course, in that same breath,
Right.
what does success mean to you?
All right. What does success mean to me? Change of life. We need to change people's life. We need to make people live a better life. We need to change how people think. There needs to be a reconstruction. Life is more than you driving Benz and you being wife of Pablo. It's more than that because on the long run, things are done on global scale that will take that Benz away from you at a site like this. If you don't think faster than what you're thinking now, your life goes beyond your locality, your nationality. There's a global stage waiting for you that you need to reach. There's a top that's available that you need to stay. So I tell myself most of the time, if I am on a global stage, how am I going to behave? For an example, I didn't know this opportunity was going to come my way. If I've not been doing something, I'm going to flop. That's it. You see, listen, the opportunity is going to come, either you prepare for it or not. So if you're prepared, you'll do well. If you're not, you're going to flop, and there's not going to be another. Some opportunity comes just in once in a lifetime. So you've got to take up your life like your life depends on it because it really does depend on it. Your life is in your hands. You cannot be more than what your mind says. So you need to consistently renew your mind. And listen to me, nothing is impossible. And I mean it. Listen, I've seen the impossible become possible by my hands. by my mind. The things I've done in the past few years, I never knew that I can achieve them. But I could pray and I could see. As to the end that I can see, is to the end that I can achieve. Listen, there's no stopping me. My team members will say that, Marvel, once you set a date, even if it looks like it's not going to be, you always make it be. Why? My mind is saying, if I say I'm going to do it. My words does not fail. Where the word of a king is, there is power. And no matter saying unto him, what doest thou? The things I say are the things that comes to pass. And if I'm seeing something that doesn't look like what I want to see, I change it. There's no way to do this. There's no, you want to just stay and wait for things to happen, you will wait in eternity. The government is not there to make your life better. Listen, they're not. There are organizations that are kept together to just make sure that there is order, keeping people on a limbo. Well, that's how it is. The government is not coming to save you. And I'm not against governance. Governance is good. The scripture says pray for them so that you lead a peaceful life. All right? So yeah, that should do it for you. Keep your head in the game. You get there. You know? So yeah, that's it. That's it. Thank you so much.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Marvel. That was really, really inspiring, I must say. Well done. Well done for all that you're doing. And please, when your August events, you know, when you're sure about it, we would like to be part of it.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
Please send us an invite. We'd like to be there.
All right,
Thank
we'll do
you.
that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We'll be having a very, very inspiring discussion with the photographer, CEO, what else? A podcast, you know, host and all of that, talking about Marvel Olagunju, right?
Yeah,
Am I
yeah,
correct?
yes.
And he's, you know, really said a lot, talking about young people and reaching out to the young, you know, that they can do better with themselves, as he has done better and is still doing better with himself and influencing other people. Well, that is the much we can take on this morning weekend. But of course, we would not leave you without, you know, bringing in our DIY. Let's bring back when we did scrunchies.
Ooh,
Yeah,
I like
by
that.
popular demand. So we will leave you with that, and of course, we will see you some other time. Of course, keeping a date with us. Next Saturday is Easter weekend.
Yay,
We have special stuff for you coming your way. You don't want to miss that next Saturday's event. Of course, next Saturday's edition of this morning weekend. On behalf of Zoe Magdalentin, I am Olasumbo Kuromi.
And I am Tahila Debbie Ogbole.
And we will see you some other time.
Bye.
Bye.